Good morning, YouTube. I decided that I was going to get caught up on some videos and build my library of my magical library. And these two books came to me because Witches of the Moon was doing a series this last week for magical mishaps, and it was probably about 10 years ago, and South Texas was in a major drought, and I had just finished reading basically these two books, and I applied the information when I performed my spell work strictly in my head while I was driving, and I was going down the county roads. I lived in the middle of the country off of some ranch land, and everything was so brown, so dark, so depressing, so dead, because the drought had been very severe. And I took the information from these two books and I sent up what most people would call a prayer. I still call a prayer a spell. I just think it's just a difference of words, origins of words. But anyway, when I performed this, I did more perform it in a form of a prayer, only because I was driving and I sent it up to the god and the goddess, and I I basically prayed rain, but I didn't ask for rain. I just sent up the feeling of. I started it with the imagery of feeling of I was in the middle of a downpour of water. I could smell the earth as the water started to hit it. The smell of that fresh rain, cleaning everything off, everything feeling cool and crisp, and then starting to see all of the brown earth start to turn green with the vegetation, the trees starting to plump up in their leaves, and in all of this feeling and imagery that I built up and sent off out into the universe, I I sometimes put in certain conditions, things that I myself will do and give back for. Um, anyway, it was sort of like the catch that I put into this spell, and I said that I will never complain about the rain. I will never complain about when the weather is not perfect for me for the day that I choose to go do something or whatever, that I will enjoy every minute, whether it's sunny or whether it's raining, whether it's hot, whether it's freezing cold, that I would never um, talk to my God, Goddess, the universe in any way that was in negative about the weather. And I sent it up, and I thanked the universe for granting everything and giving it its all. Well, the rain started, and the rain started within, I think it was about 4 hours of doing that. I'd gone to work, and I get a phone call at work, and it was my husband at the time, he's my ex-husband now, but my husband at the time, and he said, we're in the middle of a downpour and it's not stopping. And they're estimating that we're getting 19 inches in an hour. And they got 19 inches of rain in an hour. And he said that he saw a wall of water coming off of the ranch land to the front of our property. And he said it came over in a giant wave. It was a flash flood is what it was from all the heavy rain. And what that did was it washed out our road. He was stuck at the house, and I was stuck not being able to get back to the house. Now, at that point, I realized what I had done, and I know I did it. I thank the universe for the rain. I thank the God and Goddess. I said I wouldn't complain, and I'm not going to complain. The rain is beautiful. The rain is great. The land appreciates it. It needed to be revived. And I kept to my word that I promised that I wouldn't complain no matter what. And I didn't complain. By the end of the week, we had gotten a total of 30 inches of rain. It took me a week and a half to be able to go back home because we had no road, and the road had washed out in one spot, and it was about 6 foot wide, and it was probably about 20 foot deep, that it has taken the whole road completely out. And we had to wait for them to rebuild that road section. And it took about a week and a half because they had to wait till the ground was a little more stable. They patched it at first with a bunch of caliche and then put the paving on. Now, the two books that I got the information from was these two. One was The Prayer of Jabez. It's just a little book, and it's a very quick read, and it tells you a principle of prayer. It's a prayer of gratitude instead of asking. And the other one was The Isaiah Effect by Greg Braden. The reason that I call myself an eclectic witch is because I gather my information from everywhere. The Prayer of Jabez is more considered a Christian book. The Isaiah Effect is in it that part that I took from it actually came from a Native American. However, it was also based on the new translations of the Dead Sea Scroll and some of the things that had been left out of the modern Bibles because, not probably because they were trying to keep people down or not give them the information or anything, but because when you are writing in a very dead language and your more modern people, even though this was still in ancient times, are translating these languages into other languages that are also not so, the King James Version still does not speak in a way that we speak today. And there's a lot of words in different languages that don't translate well to other languages easily. Also, you have to understand that certain words, depending on context, take on different meanings. So maybe they have the right technical word to translate it into, but it took it completely out of context. And that's the problem and danger whenever you're translating anything from one language to another language. The misinterpretations, the issues involved in all of that. But these two books enlightened me in a way to add more power, more punch to any spell work that I did, because now I understood from what I had also learned in witchcraft, in basic philosophies of witchcraft, about building that witch's cone of power. The power isn't just the electromagnetic fields, which are very important, and I learned from Dion Fortune in Applied Magic and the occult essays that I've already spoke on in books. But that helps build certain kinds of power. But the best and biggest power that you can put into any spell and anything that you're doing, prayer, spell, whatever you want to call it, is coming from it's already done and total gratitude and appreciation for it already being done. And that was also taught in a lot of the witchcraft books, but in a different way of saying it. They would say things like, do your spell, have confidence that it's done, and don't speak of it again, walk away from it, and don't, because you don't want to ruin it by, well, God, I haven't seen anything happen, and I haven't done this, and you nitpick it, and you destroy the work when you do that. These two books put a different twist on what you're already learning in certain other books and certain other studies and with certain other people. And when you put all of these concepts together, you see a bigger picture of what they're trying to convey. I like to find my sources from 1,000 different places so that I can fully understand the full scope of an idea or a principle. It is exactly why some people like certain authors, because their brain clicks better with how they're saying or conveying a concept, whereas other people want someone totally different than that because they can't understand this person at all. But you should read and be well studied in a variety of places so that you can fully understand concepts on a more complex level. And this is how you become from a beginning witch to an advanced witch. You build your power. You will always naturally start building your power, no matter how you do it. But you can supercharge your work. And when you do that, you gain more confidence, more steadfastness. And the more confident you are, and the more you gain that personal power of knowing, everything gets so much better. So these two books, I would think, The Isaiah Effect by Greg Braden and The Prayer of Jabez, I believe, can really help any magic worker better word and understand the conveyance of emotional power that you're sticking into a spell. And that's all for this video, and I'm going to be putting up a couple of more as well on the same kind of topics. Thanks so much. Bye. Blessed be.